All right, welcome class to lesson 3 in unit 7. This is the first activity of the lesson. All right, so they say here are the low temperatures in degrees Celsius for a week in Anchorage, Alaska. Okay, not a very warm place. You can see the temperatures here for the week. And they would have supplied the temperatures on a number line and figure out which day of the week had the lowest temperature. So I've added in a number line for you here, and we're going to plot all of the temperatures from all of the days on there. So we're going to go one at a time. So let's take a look at Monday, 5 degrees Celsius. Well, let's find 0, and 5 is going to be to the right of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. So we can put a point right here. Okay, let's get a different color for the next day. So for Tuesday, it was -1. So I find 0, and -1 is going to be to the left. So there's Tuesday. All right, and so for Wednesday, -5.5. Okay, so I'm going to go find -5, but then for the 0.5 part, we have to decide, am I going to go to the right or am I going to go to the left? Well, -5.5 or -5.5 is halfway between -5 and -6, so it has to go here. Okay, and then for Thursday, Thursday is -2, so here's 0, and here's -2. All right, and then Friday is 3. So 3 degrees for Friday. That's still not very warm, but it's actually above freezing because we're using Celsius, so it's a little bit warmer than freezing. And then for Saturday, it's 4 degrees. Okay, 4 degrees. So we got Saturday right here. And then for Sunday, it was 0. 0 degrees. So how about we do a gray for 0? There we go. Okay, so which one of these is the lowest? Okay, well, I hope you are catching on now. The lowest temperature is the one that's the furthest to the left on the number line. So in this case, it's -5.5. It's Wednesday. Okay, so this is the challenging new thing to be aware of. -5.5 is the lowest amount or lowest temperature here, even though you might be thinking, well, wait a second, it's bigger than 4, but no, it's not. Positive 5.5 would be bigger than 4, but not -5.5. All right, so for number 2, the lowest temperature ever recorded in the United States was -62 degrees Celsius in Prospect Creek Camp, Alaska. The average temperature on Mars is about -55 degrees Celsius. Which is warmer? The coldest temperature recorded in the USA, which is -62, or the average temperature on Mars, which was -55? They're doing work on my apartment. This is annoying. Okay, so, well, the coldest temperature would be the one furthest from 0, and if we were to look at this number line for reference, -62 is going to be even further left than -55. So the US was colder, so if they ask us which one is warmer, well, the average temperature on Mars is actually warmer than the coldest temperature ever in the USA. Okay, that's not the average temperature in Prospect Creek Camp, Alaska, but it's the coldest temperature, and that's actually colder than the average temperature on another planet in Mars. So interesting. Okay, so write an inequality to show your answer. Okay, so the way we're going to do that is we're going to start with, I like to start with the smaller number. We could do that. You could actually start either way, but let's start with the smaller number. The smaller number is -62, and that is, I'm going to put a space, that is less than -55. Or you could start with the bigger number first. You could say -55 is greater than -62. And again, I do recommend looking at this and thinking about this for a little bit because it's a very, very common way to make a mistake. A lot of people, they ignore or they just don't see the minus sign. And so all they're seeing is 62 or 55. They think, well, 62 is bigger. But when we're talking about negative numbers, it is different. Okay, so then that moves us to number 3. On a winter day, the low temperature in Anchorage, Alaska was -21 degrees Celsius. and the low temperature in Minneapolis, Minnesota was negative 14 degrees Celsius. Jada said, I know that 14 is less than 21, so negative 14 is also less than negative 21. This means it was colder in Minneapolis than in Anchorage. Do you agree? Well, this relates just to what I was just saying here. Once you're talking about with negative numbers, it is different. You have to see the negative sign. Negative 21 is colder than negative 14. Okay? So, while it is true that 14 is less than 21, this part's true. This part is not. Negative 14 is not less than negative 21. It's the other way around. Negative 14 is more than negative 21. So negative 14 is warmer than negative 21. So Anchorage is warmer. So we disagree with Jada. Sorry, Jada.